cleared for takeoff. Columbia, this is Houston. Go ahead, over.
Good evening and welcome in to Indians Minor League Magazine here. I'm Al Pulowski with former Tribe left-hander Jason Stanford. And Jay, as the trades happened this past weekend, we're going to see a lot of kids that we've been talking about these last few years on their way to Cleveland.
Yeah, and this is even better because now you get rid of all the veteran guys and you have all the young kids that have just been drafted recently. The new trades coming in. Some hot prospects now.
Yeah, well, for you people that have wanted to see the kids, you're going to see them now for the rest of 2010. Here's what's coming up on the show. We'll take you around the minors and check in on all the Tribe farm teams. Some guys really doing well. We'll also have STOHD.com's Tony Lastoria in studio to talk about the success of the Indians' recent drafts in 08 and 09. Later, you'll meet Scrappers pitcher Kyle C. Smith, plus this week's standings and schedule, and you'll discover Dan DeGeorge's Major League Idol. But let's start with the big news, the big trade that the Indians made for Jake Westbrook this past Saturday when they sent him to San Diego. Technically, then sent him to St. Louis. But when they sent him to San Diego, they got this guy in return, right-hander Corey Kluber, who was 6-6 with a 3.45 ERA at Double-A San Antonio. But more importantly, he's the Texas League leader in strikeouts with 136. He's going to report to the Akron Arrows. Jay, Corey Kluber leading the Texas League in strikeouts. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a tough league.
It's a very tough league. It's a hitter's league, and for anybody that is able to throw 122 innings and have 136 strikeouts, you're saying a lot. This is a very top prospect the Indians have been looking at for a while now, and they're able to get a guy that is already at the Double-A level that could move up to Triple-A and be ready for the big leagues next year.
And his development really took a big step this year, too, so the Indians very happy to get him into the organization. All right, let's take you down to Triple-A now, and more players moving up to the Indians. One of those we've been waiting for a couple of years to see, and that's Jordan Brown, who's really done it all in the minors. Nothing left to do there. He won the Eastern and International League MVP awards. He won the IL batting crown last season. This year he was batting .309 with 6 homers and 63 RBI in 69 games with the Clips. His only problem is he's really not a great defender, but he's worked on that.
He has. He worked on it this whole offseason. He's a great hitter. Everybody knows that he can hit the ball. I mean, he's got a career average over 300, but defensively he always struggled, and that was his one flaw. And so his main thing, and that's what the Indians told him, that's the whole reason he didn't get a September call-up last year, was because of his defensive flaws.
Well, he took that to heart, worked on it in the offseason. Here he is now, and he's been in the lineup for Travis Hafner the last couple of games. David Huff will make the start here on Tuesday night against Boston. He'll get the recall. And Lou Marson's done a nice job at the plate the last 13 games.
Well, Lou looks very comfortable at the plate now, and everybody knows he's a very good defensive catcher. He calls a good game, and he's got a strong arm. But offensively, he just struggled at the big league level, and that's the reason he went down to AAA. He's got everything in order now, and it's good to see a young kid really take the bull by the horns, if you want to take it, figuratively speaking, and say this is what you need to do, and he's done it.
Yeah, he sure has. All right, and as people like Jordan Brown get promoted to Cleveland, people like Matt McBride get promoted from Akron to Columbus. Let's go down and take a look at the Double-A Arrows. And first, Matt McBride, who was just promoted. He had 285 in 94 games with the Arrows this year, 17 home runs, 64 runs batted in. And how did he do in his first game with the Clippers last Thursday? Well, he went 4 for 5 with the homer and 3 runs batted in. Not a bad Columbus debut.
No, a very good AAA debut. And you see all these guys getting called up to the big leagues, and there's more prospects that are coming up from AA that are well-deserved to get the AAA call. And it's awesome to see the Indians finally have a stockpile of offensive talent, defensive talent, and pitching talent at the upper levels. They had a lot of guys in the low-level A-ball and high A, but now you're seeing it in the AA and AAA levels.
And what's been encouraging is the guys like McBride now who have moved up from AA to AAA this year, Gettert, Phelps, to name a couple. Their production hasn't dropped off. In fact, it's gotten a little bit better as they moved up.
Yeah, they've all gotten a lot better, and that's good to see because you're facing a lot better pitching up there in the AAA level because a lot of those guys are major league talent already, and I mean it's awesome to see that right now.
And you saw a couple other play. Bo Mills hitting the ball pretty well of the last 2 or 3 weeks for Akron as well, and that's encouraging too. All right, let's go to Kinston, Class A level, where we have more good news to talk about. Lucas Montero got promoted to Akron. Montero takes McBride's spot after hitting .265 for the K-Tribe with 3 homers, 29 RBI, but 24 steals. He brings some speed to that Akron push for the Eastern League playoffs, and again, speed, you can't coach that or teach that. You've got to be born with it, and he's got it.
Yeah, he does. He's very good, and he's a lot different than everybody else right now. You see a lot of the offensive guys hitting home runs, hitting power in the gaps. But Montero is one of those speedy guys that once he gets on base, he's a threat to steal. He's a lot like Carl Crawford at a young age in his career. And you're going to see a kid in Akron now bring a lot to the table with that team, making a push for the playoff run.
And if he can get that average up just a little bit more, he is going to be definitely a guy to keep an eye on. Here's two other guys. Speaking of average, Chun Shen and Jeremy Tice both were promoted from Lake County. Chun Shen and Jeremy Tice both hitting at Kinston.
Yeah, man, you knew that these guys were going to get called up sooner or later because they're very offensive-minded kids. Chun Shin, very good defensively, and you're seeing all these guys that were in Lake County that had very good seasons early on moving up because everybody is doing what they're supposed to do at the lower levels and the mid-levels by moving up.
And not far behind them with the promotion from Lake County, the next guy very well could be Adam Abraham, who's just been on a tear for the Lake County Captains here in the last couple of weeks. In the last 13 games, he's been hitting .438. His big effort was a 5 RBI game on Sunday as the Captains beat South Bend. He's also got 6 home runs and 17 RBIs along with 8 doubles in his last 14 games. He was named the Midwest League's Batter of the Week. Well deserved.
Very well deserved. And you're seeing what's going on with Adam now. He's very comfortable at the plate. A lot of home runs in a short amount of time. And so anytime that you can see that, you're knowing that you're hitting the ball right, you're hitting it square on the bat. And this is a kid that is really learned and really focused on going from aluminum bat to wood bat very fast.
Giovanni Soto was the player acquired in the Johnny Peralta deal with the Tigers. He had a good debut. And Greg Fulgia, another guy putting up impressive numbers in his last 14 games.
Yeah, it's very nice to see from top to bottom. You look at the A-ball kids all the way up to AAA. Everybody's doing a great job right now, and it's fun to see that at the end of the season.
All right, let's head down to the rookie league level now. The Mahoning Valley Scrappers and some kids making some people stand up and take notice. One of those guys is Dan DeGeorge, who is batting .361 over his last 11 games with 3 RBI and 2 doubles. Nice, scrappy player who can put the bat on the ball.
Yeah, he can. He's not a power guy, but he puts the ball in play and he allows himself to get on base, and that's why you're seeing the average. You're not going to see a lot of power numbers for a smaller guy like this, but Travis Fryman is very happy with the way that he's been able to play in a short amount of time.
He's an infielder and one of those guys that next couple of years could make his way up the system. Jordan Cassis, we've talked about him before. His numbers on his last 12 games at 0-2. Some nice numbers, even though the record's at 1-2.
Yeah, and you can't really complain about the record because the Scrappers have not been playing that great because they really don't hit well as a team. But their pitching staff down there has done a very nice job. They're very young, and you're going to see some talented guys really move up the system that can get the job done on the mound.
All right, we'll take a break here with Indians Minor League Magazine. When we come back, we'll learn Dan DeGeorge's Major League idol. That's coming up a little bit later on the show. But next, we'll talk with Tony Lastoria about Jason Kipnis here and more as we take a look at the 09 and 08 draft classes. Make sure you stay tuned.
Beautiful. 26, 36 feet per second up.